This guy was the dreamboat of the entire campus, and yet he got cheated on 99 times. His name, Bin, handsome as hell and a god at gaming. Gaming, let's be clear. Get your minds out of the gutter. The only downside, he's from a modest family and works non-stop to make ends meet. Still, that didn't stop him from being every girl's ideal man. Gorgeous girls were always around him, falling at his feet, but he only had eyes for one, Zhao Qian, a materialistic drama queen, the so-called goddess of the school. To feed her vanity, Bin juggled 3 jobs a day just to keep up. Every time Bin got paid, he'd blow it all on Zhao Qian just to make her smile. Little did he know she'd already slept with other guys over 800 times. Meanwhile, he hadn't even touched a strand of her hair. That's the tragedy of a simp. Just like any other day, Bin got off work and hopped on his game to kill time. But the moment he cleared the level, a strange message popped up. You're the fastest player to finish. You're invited to enter the apocalypse world. The promise of epic rewards. Say no more. Without hesitation, Bin hit accept. A robotic voice echoed as the system finalized his registration. Then came the real kicker. He could now enter the apocalypse world anytime under 5 strict rules. Rule 1, if you die there, you die for real. Rule 2, survive for 7 full days to return. Rule 3, 1 day in reality equals 7 in the apocalypse. Rule 4, only non-living items can be carried between worlds. Rule 5, there are no rules in the apocalypse world. Your only mission is to stay alive. System message, apocalypse world will open in 4 hours. Please prepare accordingly. As soon as he saw that items could be brought back to the real world, Bin knew. This was the right call. Planning to stock up for a full 7 days in the apocalypse, he opened his wallet and saw nothing but air. He stood there frozen for a second, then decided to head back to campus and ask his roommates for a little help. But when he finally saw them, the words just wouldn't come out. He couldn't bring himself to ask. The 2 roommates exchanged a glance, instantly understanding everything. Without a word, they emptied their wallets and placed all their savings in front of him. As he was leaving, his roommates reminded him, quit blowing all your money on Zhao Qian. Treat yourself for once, man. Bin was genuinely moved. His chest tightened and he thought, with brothers like this, my life's already a win. He swore to himself. When he came back from the apocalypse, he'd treat them like kings. Once all the supplies were packed, Woman got ready to set off. Realizing he'd be missing for a whole day, he figured Zhao Qian might freak out if she couldn't reach him. So he called her in advance. To his surprise, Zhao Qian said she had something to talk to him about too. Thinking she just missed him, he smiled and said, let's talk when I get back. All right. She paused for a second, but Bin quickly cut in. Trust me, when I come back, I've got a surprise for you. Zhao Qian replied perfunctory, all right, I'll wait then. But as soon as she hung up, her cheeks flushed with excitement. A man beside her leaned in with a sleazy grin. Who was that calling this late? As he spoke, his hand slid right down toward her waistband. Zhao Qian let out a soft moan and whispered, just someone unimportant. Don't worry about him. Let's keep going. And just like that, the woods echoed with a rhythmic clap-clap symphony while the car rocked along in pure ecstasy. Meanwhile, Bin had officially crossed over into the apocalypse world. No welcome party, just a mob of zombies forcing him into an abandoned building. What he didn't know was a girl had already set her sights on him. After a brutal round of combat, the dust finally settled. The girl looked dirty, exhausted, and pitiful. So Bin, soft-hearted as always, left her some food before heading off. But no sooner had he turned a corner, he ran into a group of rather flamboyant tough guys. They demanded supplies, but when Bin refused, their smiles disappeared. One of the muscleheads snapped, swinging a metal club straight at him, outnumbered and outmatched. Bin had no choice but to run for his life. Watching all this unfold from afar was the same girl from before. She scoffed, noob's gonna noob. Then without hesitation, she leapt from the 10th floor, a massive concrete brick in hand, and wham, she smashed one of those guys flat on the spot. The other 2 guys turned around drawn by the scream. But before they could even react, the girl lifted her foot unwashed for half a year, no doubt, and launched a flying kick straight at the bald guy's head. To everyone's shock, his head tanked it like a steel helmet, completely unharmed. Her foot on the other hand twisted like a pretzel on the spot. Realizing she was in trouble, the girl ditched all pretense and snatched a knife from Bin. She growled, activate weak spot scan now. Within seconds, she'd zeroed in on the perfect place to strike. One clean slash and the bald guy was down for good. RIP, rent never paid. The other 2 looked like they'd seen a ghost and bolted without a second thought. Bin was just about to chase them down for cleanup duty, but the girl blocked his path. Don't chase. That fight was way too loud, she warned. Zombies will be on us any second. And without another word, she grabbed Bin's arm and dragged him into a nearby building. Just as Bin was about to catch his breath, the girl suddenly pressed a blade to his neck, dropped the stun button. Now, she demanded, eyes full of suspicion. Wenbin instantly raised his hands in surrender, then carefully placed the baton on the ground. The girl huffed angrily and kicked it across the room. Seeing things take a dangerous turn, Wenbin pulled out his trump card. He dumped out all the food in his bag. In the apocalypse, that stuff was worth more than gold, 100 times over. The girl's eyes lit up like disco balls. Whatever grudge she had, instantly forgotten. She stared in disbelief. Who even are you? How the hell do you have all this food? Seeing she was already seduced by the ramen, Wenbin struck while the iron was hot. That's a secret for now, but I'm only here for 7 days. If we ever meet again, I'll bring you even more. No sweat. She didn't press further. My name's Gwen Xiaoyo, she said calmly. With that, she turned and went back in her room. In Wenbin, he finally collapsed onto the bed, completely drained from the day's chaos. Suddenly, Wenbin remembered why he came to this world in the first place. He jumped up and started rummaging around. After a bit of digging jackpot, a pile of jewelry, whoa, this necklace alone would go for hundreds of thousands back home. But here in the apocalypse, gold and diamonds weren't worth squat, couldn't even trade for cabbage. Still, it'd make Zhao Qian pretty damn happy. Wondering if the stash belonged to Guanxia, he decided to ask. So he pushed open her door only to catch her in the middle of a shower, shirtless. Wenbin slammed the door shut, flustered. Sorry, I was just wondering if I could maybe buy those accessories from you. Dress now, Gwen Xiaoya replied casually, if you want him, take him. No one cares about that junk anymore. Wenbin grinned, well, I care. I've got big plans for that junk. In return, I'll get you even more food. Food. Her eyes lit up. You mean if I help you find more of that worthless stuff, you'll give me more to eat? And just like that, a beautiful partnership was born, trading shiny trash for tasty treasures. Just as the two were planning where to hunt for more jewelry, they heard footsteps approaching from outside. It was the Tiger Head gang back for revenge after losing a guy earlier due to the zombie chaos. With no other choice, Wenbin and Gwen Xiaoya relocated to a safer spot to rest. This city was run by 4 major gangs, Tiger Head, Mad Sharks, Iron Bears, and Sky Eagles, each more savage than the last. But Wenbin couldn't care less about turf wars. All he could think about was gold bars. Gwen Xiaoya told him the only known vault in the area was deep in Mad Shark territory. The second Wenbin imagined those buffed-up maniacs, he noped right out of that idea. Time flew by and soon it was the final day of his apocalypse visit. As the countdown on his phone hit 0, Wenbin successfully returned to the real world. Nearby, a couple who were just about to get frisky outdoors were scared stiff by Wenbin's sudden return, packing up their passion and disappointment. Meanwhile, Wenbin was on cloud 9, lugging a backpack full of solid gold bars. Overjoyed, he pulled out his phone and called his girlfriend, Zhao Qian, eager to share the good news. Unbeknownst to him, Zhao Qian was currently house hunting with another man. The guy's hand slid up and down her waist, making her cheeks flush and her breath quicken. He leaned in and whispered, just break up with him and I'll pay the down payment for your new place right now. Zhao Qian's heart raced. She quickly called Wenbin. Honey, come to the GMB garden sales office. I'll be waiting .. Wenbin, clueless as ever, lit up with excitement. Awesome. I'll sell the gold, buy her a villa and give her the surprise of a lifetime. Right after hanging up, he rushed to a high-end jewelry store downtown hoping to trade a few pieces for cash. But the sales clerk gave him a disgusted look and was already waving him away like a stray dog. Desperate, Wenbin pulled out a gemstone to prove he was legit. The clerk sneered, took one look, and declared it fake on the spot. Nice try, he said, waving toward the door. Now, get out. The loud commotion in the lobby finally caught the attention of the store manager. Wenbin shook his head and sighed. Such a big store and no one here knows what real treasure is. He turned to leave. Just then, the manager walked over. Sir, please wait. I'm the manager here. May I take a closer look at that gemstone? The moment he held it, his eyes went wide, practically glowing like reinforced titanium. The clueless sales clerk kept running his mouth. Manager Zhong, this guy's just here to cause trouble. Manager Zhong's face turned cold with rage. Shut your damn mouth and go get tea for our honored guest now. With just a handful of gems, Wenbin walked out with an appraisal worth over 60 million. He immediately called a cab and headed for the Genobai Garden sales office. But the moment he arrived, he saw Zhao Qian wrapped in another man's arms. His heart sank like a rock. I was gone for 1 day and she already found someone else. Eyes hollow, he asked, Zhao Qian, who is this? Before she could answer, the man beside her sneered, seriously, Zhao Qian, what kind of loser were you dating before? Was he homeless or something? The crowd around them started laughing too. This is a luxury residence. What's a construction worker like him doing here? But what Zhao Qian said next crushed Wenbin's heart completely. Let's break up. You could buy me a house. If you really love me, you'd be happy for me. Wenbin stared at her, his voice low and trembling. So you're really breaking up with me over a house? Zhao Qian looked a little embarrassed but didn't deny it. The man beside her grinned arrogantly, adding fuel to the fire. Wang Bin. Right? If you walk away now, it's not too late. Stick around and I'll lay you out myself. Wang Bin clenches fists ready to swing, but Zhao Qian grabbed his arm to stop him. That's when the long-haired guy suddenly slapped him across the face and sneered. You think you're tough? I've already tasted every inch of Zhao Qian. Still want her? In the next instant, Wang Bin sent him flying with a savage kick, knocking him to the ground. As he stepped forward to finish the job, Zhao Qian yanked him back again. Wang Bin snapped, yelling, "Let go. I don't care if the king himself shows up. No one's stopping me now." Suddenly, Zhao Qian slapped him hard and spat coldly. "We are done. Can you just get lost already? Do you even know who young Master Li is? I'd never stoop to be with a loser like you." With that, she turned and threw herself sweetly into Li's arms. Wang Bin watched it all, then chuckled bitterly, whispering to himself. So all those years meant nothing. In the end, a house was worth more than my love. What a joke. Just then, the security guards rushed over. One glance at Wang Bin's shabby clothes and they immediately tried to throw him out. Wang Bin glared at them. "Is this how you treat your customers?" The female agent sneered. "Customer, please. The cheapest unit here costs 5 to 6 million. You're a broke student. Stop dreaming, and you had the nerve to hit my client." Wang Bin blinked. 5 or 6 million? Is that supposed to be a lot? The sales manager nearby finally stepped in, unable to listen any longer. "All right, kid. Enough with the nonsense." But Wang Bin's voice remained calm. "Snobs like you only see clothes, not people. I came here to buy a house, but your service. Disgusting." I lost all interest. The manager's tone turned icy, dripping with sarcasm. "Well then, I apologize on their behalf. But if you're not a buyer and you cause trouble here, I may have to call the police." Long Ben paused for a moment then replied, "To be honest, I did come here with the intention to buy. But now I realize your level is too low for me to waste money on." The crowd around him scoffed, convinced he was bluffing, all watching eagerly to see him embarrass himself. Wang Bin glanced at Zhao Qian then smiled faintly. "Zhao Qian, I hope you never regret this. And hey, best wishes to both of you." Just as Wang Bin turned to leave, the manager suddenly stopped him. "If the regular properties don't interest you, then tell me. What kind of price range does suit you?" Long Bin replied casually, "A villa. Nothing under 20 million is worth my time." The manager's eyebrows twitched. "Is this guy serious?" But he smiled and said, "Lucky for you, we've got exactly that. Lakeside villas at Emerald Lake start at 20 million. But, of course, you'll have to prove you can afford it." Long Bin nodded without hesitation. "No problem. But I've got one condition. Once I prove it, I want those 3 clowns crawling on their knees around the lobby. 3 laps." The female agent was about to object, but the manager shut her down instantly. "Deal. If you've got what it takes, you'll be our most honored guest." At that moment, young Master Li, finally recovering, shoved Zhao Qian aside and charged at Wang Bin in rage. But in the next second, Wang Bin casually flung a 50-pound gold bar straight at him. BM, sending him flying again. The manager stood frozen, his voice shaking. "Wait, am I seeing this right? Was that a solid gold bar he just threw?" The once mocking crowd fell dead silent. Everyone suddenly turned into private accounts. No one dared say another word. Zhao Qian rushed to Li's side, panicked and flustered, but Wang Bin didn't even spare her a glance. "Zhao Qian, I can't believe you turn out like this. I didn't lose you. You lost me." Then without a word, Long Bin took out his phone and casually showed everyone his bank balance. The manager leaned in for a look and nearly peed himself, over 70 million. The smug saleswoman who had mocked him earlier started sweating bullets, her face pale with regret. The manager immediately bowed and apologized non-stop, his tone full of panic. Without hesitation, he ordered the 3 loudmouths to get on their knees and crawl 3 laps around the lobby. And just like that, Wang Bin purchased a $30 million lakeside villa, paid in full on the spot, not out of spite, but because he needed a base of operations for his inevitable return to the apocalypse world. Meanwhile, back at the university campus, Long Bin's 2 best bros had just heard about his breakup. Both looked deeply worried. They tried calling him several times, but he wasn't answering. Then suddenly, one of them got a text notification. His bank account had just received 1 million yuan. A second later, the other bro got the exact same message. Confused, but curious, they opened their banking apps just to check. Their jaws dropped. Each account really had an extra million sitting in it. Just as they were about to call the bank in a panic, Wang Bin's call came in. The moment they picked up, one of them asked anxiously, "Bro, what happened? Are you okay?" Wang Bin answered calmly, "I'm fine. Just heading back to my hometown for a bit." When they found out Wang Bin had sent them the money, both froze. Their first thought, Wang Bin chuckled at his friend's reaction. "Relax. It's just pocket change. Let's say I got lucky and hit the jackpot." His friends were speechless. $1 million is pocket change. Bro, what the hell did you do? Honest as always, they asked directly. So how big was this jackpot? Wonbin shrugged. Around 100 million, give or take. You guys helped me through the rough times. Now that I've made it, this is nothing. The two didn't ask further but looked serious. Still, watch out for young Masterly. He's not the type to let things go. Wen waved it off. Don't worry about him. I'll handle it. I'm heading back to my hometown for now. Drinks on me when I'm back. Standing outside his family home, Wenbin fell into deep thought. He hadn't visited much while dating Zhao Qian, and that regret hit hard. Bro, did you just rob a bank? His parents never cared whether he had money or not. All they ever wanted was for him to be safe and healthy. During dinner, they looked uneasy, thinking he must have gotten into trouble. Not wanting them to worry, Wenbin smiled and said he won the lottery and came home to bring them some money. But this trip wasn't just for family. He also needed to see someone important. After checking in with his parents, Wenbin went off to visit the man himself, his infamous second uncle. Second uncle wasn't just some old man. He was a legendary street figure with enough tools to supply a small militia. Longman had his eyes on one thing, that old hunting rifle. In the apocalypse, that would be a game changer. But Uncle went above and beyond, tossing him a tranquilizer gun as well. Take it too. If you're not aiming to kill, at least bring one back alive. After getting everything ready, Wenbin was finally set to depart. This time, he packed more than just a machete. He even brought explosives. Being rich really hits different from toy weapons to total firepower. As the countdown hit 0, Wenbin was instantly teleported back into the apocalypse. Meanwhile, Gwen was staring at her last packet of Wenbibin milk candy, eyes welling with tears. Just as despair hit its peak, the door suddenly slammed open. The moment she saw who it was, she burst into tears. Brother Wang, you really came back. You didn't abandon me. Wenbin tried to respond but was nearly winded. Her ripped abs had slammed right into his chest. Then he noticed her body was covered in bruises and cuts. Alarmed, he asked, what happened to you? Gwen explained, the Tiger Head gang put a bounty on us. I was worried about you, so I went out to gather intel, but I got ambushed several times. They chased me all the way back here. I barely escaped. Moved by her courage, Wenbin pulled her into his arms. I swear, I'll wipe the Tiger Head gang off the map. Sensing the emotional tension rising, Wenbin cleared his throat and quickly changed the subject. Hey, come check out what treasure I brought you. Gwen Xiaoyu's eyes lit up. It was the legendary 98K air rifle. She clutched it like a child hugging a favorite toy. Seeing how much she loved it, Wenbin smiled. It's yours. How about even stronger toys in reserve? According to Guang Xiaoyi, while Wenbin was gone, the Tiger Head gang and the Iron Bear gang had a major clash with heavy casualties on both sides. With both gangs short on manpower, Wenbin knew this was the perfect time to stir the pot. Guang Xiaoyu looked uneasy. Brother Wang, can the two of us really take on entire gangs? Wenbin grinned. We don't need to take them head on. We just need to spark a little chaos. Let them destroy each other. Then we swoop in and grab the gold. But how are we supposed to start that kind of chaos? She asked, eyes wide. Wenbin chuckled slyly. Already got a plan. He pulled a blasting cap from his bag and gave it a shake. Only the Iron Bear gang has explosives. So we blow up Tiger Head's warehouse and pin on the bears. Boom. Instant gang war. And just like that, a deadly scheme was set into motion. That night, under cover of darkness, the two snuck toward the Tiger Head gang's warehouse. The guard at the entrance was snoring like a dead pig, completely out cold. They crept inside and made it up the stairs without a hitch. Suddenly, footsteps patrol incoming. They tiptoed their way up before being spotted, but just as they reached the third floor, they ran straight into a guard. Luckily, Wenbin had his tranquilizer gun. Pop, pop, pop. The guy went down like a sack of bricks with no more resistance. They pushed forward and reached the 5th floor with ease. Down the hallway, two Tiger Head gang members were deep in a worried conversation. Man, I don't know if we can really take down the Iron Bear gang. Our food's only gonna last a month. If we drag this out, we'll starve, and they've got explosives and grenades. Raiding them won't be easy. Honestly, maybe we should just grab what we can and run. The bald one shot him a warning glare. Keep it down. If Bosu hears that, your head's in a roll. Unbeknownst to them, Wenbin was crouched nearby, hearing every word loud and clear. Moments later, the two suddenly felt nature calling and shuffled off toward the restroom. Seizing the chance, Wenbin motioned to Gwen Xiaoyu and they slipped into the hallway. From one of the rooms, heavy snoring echoed out. Wenbin paused, focused. Yep, that was definitely Boss who fast asleep. The locked room right next to it had to be the storage room. Gwen Xiaoyu whispered, Brother Wang, they said Tiger Head and Iron Bear are bound to fight anyway. Do we still need to start anything? Wenbin replied seriously, I only have 7 days here. They got food for a month. If we wait, I'll be gone, and this chance will be too. That was all she needed to hear. Her hesitation vanished, replaced by resolve. Wenbin eyed the padlock and muttered, "If we shoot it open, the noise will blow our cover and we'll both be toast." Just as Wenbin was running out of options, Gwen Xiaoyu stepped forward with a confident smile. "Don't worry, Brother Wang. Leave it to me." She pulled out a silver pin from her sleeve like it was nothing. Clearly, this wasn't her first time. Wenbin's jaw dropped, stars in his eyes. "Xiaoyu, you're amazing. Total wife material." But while they were busy at the lock, a low growl echoed from the window they'd crawled in through. A blood-stained zombie hand slowly reached through the gap searching for prey. Meanwhile, the guard at the door was still deep in sleep, snoring and drooling oblivious to the danger. Step by step, the zombies crept closer until the groans finally woke the guard. He rubbed his eyes and looked around groggily, then instantly froze, his soul practically leaving his body. The entire lobby had filled with zombies, dozens, maybe hundreds of them. One blood-curdling scream later, the entire Tiger Head gang woke up in chaos. And right then, Wenbin and Gwen Xiaoyu successfully cracked open the warehouse door. Inside was a treasure trove, food, weapons, supplies, everything the gang had hoarded. Wenbin immediately moved to plant the explosives. But when he turned around, he saw Gwen Xiaoyu hugging a sack of rice, giggling like a kid who just found her favorite toy. Suddenly, a terrified shout echoed through the hallway. "Bad news, Bossu. A whole swarm of zombies just broke in." The bald thug tried to explain further, but Bossu knocked him flat with a single punch. "How many times have I told you? Never wake me up while I'm sleeping or you're dead." The green-haired guy quickly jumped in. "Boss, we didn't mean to. The base is really under zombie attack." That made Bossu's face changed instantly. He turned sharply toward the warehouse, a deep sense of dread creeping in. He shoved the door open only to find the place completely ransacked, supplies scattered everywhere. Just then, a strange sizzling sound caught his attention. He looked over and saw the explosives were armed. Boom. A deafening explosion shook the building, sending people flying in every direction. Bossu stared at the wreckage, his entire stash of supplies gone. He roared with fury. "This is the Iron Bear gang's doing. Those bastards are dead meat." Meanwhile, Wenbin and Gwen Xiaoyu had already slipped into the ventilation system and were crawling their way out. That went better than expected. Wenbin smirked. "Now we just sit back and let the gangs tear each other apart." Soon, they reached the end of the vent. Wenbin peeked out, saw no one, and dropped to the ground. But the moment his feet hit the floor, a wave of rotten stench hit, followed by dozens of zombies rushing straight at them. Gwen Xiaoyu didn't hesitate. She fired off several clean shots, landing headshots one after another, but there were just too many zombies. Bullets alone couldn't hold them back. In the blink of an eye, she lost focus for just a moment, and a zombie lunged straight at her. At the last second, Wenbin swept in like a storm, slicing the zombie down in one heroic move. When it comes to zombies, nothing beats cold steel. Agree. Gwen Xiaoyu nodded as she swung her blade. Way more satisfying than bullets. Staring at the sea of undead ahead, a wave of battle spirit surged between them. "If we make it out alive, we are officially war buddies for life." With that, the two of them launched into the horde like missiles, blades flashing, blood flying. After the brutal clash, they collapsed onto an old sofa drenched in sweat and blood gasping for breath. "Good thing it wasn't a full swarm," Wenbin muttered, "but would be zombie snacks right about now." Gwen Xiaoyu laughed between gasps. "That fight was awesome, but now I'm starving." Without missing a beat, Wenbin handed her a can of chips. "Celebrate the victory. Eat like royalty. I brought a whole stash." As she laid eyes on the mountain of snacks he revealed, all her ladle-like manners flew out the window. She dove in, chomping down with zero shame. Honestly, you couldn't blame Gwen Xiaoyu for going full beast mode on the snacks. In the apocalypse, anyone who could whip out a stash like this was basically a warlord. At a bag of chips here was worth more than a 500-kilo gold brick. While munching, Wenbin casually cracked open a bottle of beer to relax. Xiaoyu immediately perked up. "Hey, I want one too." Wenbin waved her off. "You're still young. No beer for you. Drink some milk instead." The moment he said that, her expression darkened. "I'm not a little kid anymore." Sensing danger, Wenbin quickly faked a yawn and retreated back to his room. Once inside, he wasted no time, pulled up the system interface. There'd been an important message earlier while fighting zombies. A robotic voice chimed in as the screen loaded. The prompt read, "Consume 1,000 kilograms of gold to unlock your first system upgrade, a 50 cubic meter inventory space. The second upgrade, access to the lottery system where you could win powerful skill books." Wenbin's face twitched. He quickly did the math, 400 yuan per gram. 1,000 kilos meant 400 million yuan. The system, sensing his breakdown, chimed again, "Don't worry player. This is a top-tier investment. Draw a few skill books and your survival rate in the apocalypse skyrockets." Wenbin stroked his chin. "That actually sounds kinda worth it." He turned to grab another beer only to realize all his drinks had mysteriously vanished. Looking over, he saw Gwen Xiaoyu sound asleep on the sofa, empty cans scattered around her. With a helpless sigh, he carried her to her room. After laying her down, he looked at her sleeping face, peaceful and innocent. And then, unable to help himself, he muttered, "Damn, angel face, devil figure. What combo?" But as soon as the thought crossed his mind, taking advantage of her like this, Wenbin shook his head and quietly left the room just as he softly shut the door behind him. Gwen Xia suddenly sat up in bed murmuring, "So in Brother Wang's eyes, I really am just a little sister." The next morning, the two geared up and headed to East City to stir up some trouble. But before they got far, a mouth-watering smell of roasted meat drifted through the air. Xiaoyu's eyes lit up before Wenbin could react. She darted off like a hunting dog on the scent trail. At the same time, a small-time leader from the Mad Shark gang had also caught a whiff and was creeping toward the source. He licked his lips muttering, "That's definitely meat. If we play our cards right, we'll get a feast and maybe even a girl to warm the bed tonight." Wenbin and Xiaoyu arrived just in time to see this, immediately ducking behind cover to observe. The gang members started closing in, carefully positioning themselves near the door, clearly ready to raid. Suddenly, a loud shout came from inside the building. "Freeze! Move again and I'll shoot." Well, Officer Miao's home, heard he just brought down a wild boar. Thought we'd drop by with the boys for a little taste. Hiding nearby, Wenbin noticed the voices and turned to Xiaoyi. "There's someone inside." "Who are they?" Xiaoyi whispered, "Her name's Reuniting. She was a cop before the apocalypse. There's also her mentor, Li Chanping, plus 5 or 6 women and kids, none of them fighters." Wenbin's mind instantly began calculating. Just the two of them wouldn't be enough to take down the Mad Shark gang, but if they recruited these folks meanwhile, outside, the gang leader was losing patience. "Come on, guys. We are already here. No way we are leaving empty-handed," he sneered. "I'm not greedy. Just half the stash will do to keep the boys warm tonight." Inside, one of the men hesitated. "Mia Ryan, maybe we should give him something." Just this once, Mia Ryan's eyes turned cold. "Absolutely not. I know guys like them. You give them an inch today, they'll come for your head tomorrow." Then she stormed toward the window and shouted, "You wanna steal from us? Then come and get it. Let's see what you're really made of. Bring it on." The Mad Shark gang actually launched an attack on former cop Mia Ryan's base, all for a few chunks of pork. What they didn't expect, Wenbin and Gwen Xiaoyu lying in ambush ready to open fire. In seconds, all the thugs they brought were taken down like dominoes. Left with no options, the gang leader muttered a threat and bolted with his tail between his legs. Wanting to recruit Mia's group, Wenbin pulled out his ultimate weapon, a bag of potato chips. But the moment he stepped into their base, he was greeted by the cold kiss of a gun barrel against his forehead. After explaining that he wanted to team up to take down the Mad Shark gang, everyone inside froze. The gang was too powerful. In their eyes, resisting them was basically suicide. That is until Wenbin casually pulled out a bottle of cold beer. The Chimping's expression did a complete 180. "Kid, you're willing to share this kind of treasure. You got guts. From now on, you're my brother." Mia Ryun stepped forward in shock. "Wait, is that actual beer? This stuff could buy 3 boxes of ammo on the black market." Seeing her sparkling eyes, Wenbin handed her a bottle as well. One sip later, bam, the no-nonsense officer transformed into a hyperactive anime heroine. The drunken warrior mode was activated. Seizing the moment, Wenbin distributed the rest of his food supplies to everyone at the base. And just like that, thanks to his overwhelming snack diplomacy, the entire base pledged allegiance to Wenbin. Meanwhile, all-out war had erupted between the Tiger Head Gang and the Iron Bear Gang. Smoke, blood, and chaos everywhere. The next day, Wenbin and his crew quietly infiltrated the Mad Shark Gang's main base. But the moment they saw every thug packing heat, one would immediately pull back. "No way we rush and blind. We need a real plan." But Mia Ryan, true to her fiery temper, snapped. "I need to hit someone today or I'll explode." Just then, a Mad Shark guard wandered out to relieve himself, took 3 steps and bam, headshot down on the spot. The nearby gang members jumped in panic, guns drawn, yelling alerts all over the place, but they didn't get far. Mia Ryan and Xiaoyu went full berserk mode, dropping enemies left and right with cold precision. Watching these two go full battle goddess, Wenbin had no choice. He dove in and tackled them both to the ground. All right, enough fun here. Let's go make some trouble for the Skyhawk gang next." Back in the Mad Shark in Ascenton, the gang boss stood surrounded by corpses covered in white sheets seething with rage. "Who the hell did this?" he roared. "If I ever find out, I'll make him wish they were never born." One of Mad Shark thugs snarled. "Boss, Tiger Head, and Iron Bear are busy fighting each other. If anyone had the guts to hit us, it's gotta be the Skyhawk gang." But the gang boss narrowed his eyes. "No, it's not that simple. The Skyhawks wouldn't dare strike first. Someone else is pulling strings here." First priority, figure out what the hell is going on between the tigers and the bears. He ordered coldly, call everyone back to base. We need to regroup immediately. In the back of his mind though, his plan was clear, let Tigerhead and Iron Bear tear each other apart, then swoop in and wipe out the Skyhawks. Meanwhile, over at the Skyhawk base, their boss was happily playing mahjong like nothing was wrong. His goon sat beside him praising every move. Boss, your hand's insane. You're a walking jackpot. Suddenly, a guard burst in face pale. Boss, bad news. One of our front outposts is on fire. Thanks to Wombin's master class in strategic chaos, the 4 major gangs were now locked in total war, daily gunfire, endless bloodshed. And Wombin, he was living the dream, munching snacks, practicing marksmanship, completely unfazed by the mayhem he started. The war between Tigerhead and Iron Bear had escalated into a brutal no-holds-barred bloodbath. Meanwhile, Wangbin and Xiaoyu made daily excursions into the war zones, collecting supplies, spying on movements, and enjoying the chaos they'd engineered. With their supplies gone, the Tigerhead gang went all in, a desperate assault that wiped out the Iron Bear gang completely. But the victory came at a heavy price. Only a dozen Tigerhead members survived and their base was now surrounded by tens of thousands of zombies trapped with no escape. The Mad Shark gang, having lost both rival threats, saw their chance. They mobilized every fighter they had to storm the Skyhawk gang, but little did they know the Skyhawks had planted a mole inside their ranks who immediately sent the intel back. Upon hearing the news, the Skyhawk boss steeled himself, rallying every available fighter to prepare for the inevitable clash. They dare to invade our paradise. Then let's show these dogs what happens when you poke the Skyhawk's beak. Meanwhile, the Mad Shark base was nearly empty, just a skeleton crew of guards. Spotting the opportunity, Wangbin infiltrated the base and took the first guard down with a single silent shot. Before the others could react, his gun was already pressed to another guard's back. His voice was low and cold. Unless you're dying to eat lead, don't move. Cooperate. Just then, Gwen Xiaoyu returned with her team whispering, Brother Wong, we've confirmed there are only these 2 guards on this floor. When the guards found out Wangbin wasn't after food but gold, their expressions went blank. Gold in the apocalypse? What the hell is he gonna do? Bribe the zombies? Still, they reluctantly led the group down a hallway toward the supposed vault. One of them pointed ahead. See that door at the end of this hallway? That's her gold stash. Mia Ruyan narrowed her eyes, clearly not buying it. She spoke up, that hallway's way too quiet. Let him go first. Wangbin smirked, exactly what I was thinking. Without hesitation, he pushed the guard forward. You lead the way. But no one noticed the subtle sinister grin curling on the guard's lips this guided tour. It was a trap, one that had been planned all along. The guard smirked smugly to himself. What a bunch of idiots. There's a hidden stairwell to the upper level just ahead. You can't spot it until you're right on top of it. Once I get to the stairs and alert the boys upstairs, those 2 chicks are mine tonight. As he reached the end of the hall, he turned back with a grin. Boss, it's just around this corner. But Wangbin didn't follow immediately. He turned to Mia Ruyan. Wait here. I'll check it out first. Suddenly, the guard bolted, dashing toward the stairs with a burst of speed. He's running. Wangbin shouted, and the group sprinted after him. But just as the guard reached the stairwell, a pale gnarled hand shot out from the shadows. A blood-curdling scream echoed through the entire base. Wangbin and the others froze in place, instincts on high alert. Then came the desperate cries for help, and with them, the real horror emerged. A wall of zombies now stood between them and the vault entrance, packed so tight you couldn't see the floor. Wangbin hesitated. With that many zombies, it wasn't worth the risk. Not when 2 women's lives were on a line. He was ready to retreat and come back another day, but Mia Ruyan caught on instantly. Her voice was firm. If getting that gold means you can take down all 4 gangs, then we don't walk away. Xiaoyu chimed in without hesitation. Brother Wang, if we miss this shot, we might never get another one. Seeing the fire in their eyes, Wangbin didn't say another word. He clenched his fists, let out a roar, and charged straight into the undead horde. The protagonist aura kicked in. Longbin carved through the zombies like a storm, clearing a path with ease. And then with one mighty kick, he blasted open the vault door. The moment it swung open, everyone froze in awe. Is that an actual mountain of gold? Mia Ryan's eyes widened as she scanned the room. At least 40 tons, she whispered. We are rich. The moment everyone heard 40 tons, their jaws dropped. Wait, that much? We'll never carry all of it out. It'd take a whole army. But Wangbin stayed calm and casually summoned his system interface. A familiar robotic voice chimed in, Congratulations, player. Massive gold cache detected. Would you like to initiate a system upgrade? Longbin paused and said, Scan the vault. How much gold exactly? System reply. Current total, 46,000 gene of gold. Proceed with upgrade. Not wanting to scare the girls by making the gold vanish out of thin air, Wangbin quickly came up with an excuse to send them out of the room. Once they were gone, he gave the order, upgrade. Now, a moment later, the system confirmed upgrade complete. Mega inventory unlocked. You may now store items simply by thinking about them. They will auto-transfer into your inventory. Upon hearing this, Wang Bin's grin stretched ear to ear, totally unable to hide his glee. All right then, suck in every last gold brick in this room. With a crisp ding, the entire vault cleared out in seconds. Every gold bar cleanly absorbed into his system space. Staring at his newly unlocked storage space, Wang Bin grinned like a thief. Man, no more heavy lifting for me. This is so worth it. Without wasting time, he asked, "Hey, system, can you upgrade again?" System reply, "Yes. Next upgrade requires 30,000 gene of gold. Upon upgrade, you will unlock the lottery system. Gold can be used to draw random rewards." Long Ben winced, 30,000. Why don't you just rub me outright? Still, after a few seconds of internal screaming, he gritted his teeth. Screw it, upgrade. The moment the upgrade completed, Wang Bin eagerly activated the lottery. But when the machine appeared, he blinked. This is it. I gave you 30,000 pounds of gold and you hand me the slot machine knockoff. The system calmly responded. Each draw costs 100 gene of gold. The prize pool is extensive. No scams. Guaranteed value. Wang Bin felt his soul leave his body. I just spent a fortune upgrading, and now you want 100 G per pull. What am I, a walking man? The system didn't flinch. Trust me, young man. Spend gold, gain power. Pay to win never fails. Wang Bin looked at his remaining gold, clenched his jaw, and muttered, "Fine. Let's roll the dice. Maybe I'll go from a bike straight to a luxury SUV." With a deep breath, Wang Bin yanked the lever on the lottery machine. As the reel spun wildly, he could barely contain his excitement. "Come on, baby. Give me something game-breaking, a god-tier skill. Let me ascend." The spinning slowed and finally landed on super combat technique. Wang Bin leapt up punching the air. I knew I was born lucky, the king of jackpots. But just then the cursor twitched downward. One final tick, system prompt, "Congratulations. You have received +1 agility." Wang Bin froze. 1 point of agility for 100 gene of gold. Are you freaking kidding me? Fueled by pure salt and rage, he roared, "Screw it. 10 pulls." Right now, the screen slowly faded to black, then displayed 4 chilling words. "Thanks for participating." Wang Bin clutched his chest. Did I just have a heart attack? System continued. "Congratulations. You have received 2 grenades, 1 night vision scope, 1 rocket launcher, 3 rockets, and a packet of spicy strips. Also awarded, skill book, marksmanship proficiency. At last, something decent." Wang Bin exhaled in relief. Not exactly what I wanted, but at least I didn't get completely scammed. With a screw-it mentality, Wang Bin hit the 10 pull button again. Let's be real. Once a man's hooked on gambling, logic goes out the window. Fellas, you've ever been there. Just 1 more poll, right? 2 minutes later, he slumped. Are you kidding me? 10 polls and 5 of them were thanks for participating. He glanced at his so-called prizes, a bottle of water and 2 packs of spicy strips. That bottle just cost me 10 million in gold. Luckily, 2 items were actually useful, a crate of bullets and a martial arts manual titled Great Vedrapong. Long Bin skimmed through the description. Finally, he let out a sigh of relief. Well, at least I got something real. This should give me a decent defense. No more getting jumped for free. With the gold stored and a lottery spree done, Wang Bin turned his thoughts back to time. 1 day in the real world meant 7 days here. He had to make every moment count. Long Bin thought it over that it was time to let the Mad Shark gang bleed a little before they became a threat to Xiaoyu and the others. With that, he took Huan Xiaoyu and Niao Ruyan and headed straight for the Skyhawk gang's base, ready to join the fray and help crush the sharks. Meanwhile, chaos reigned to the Skyhawk front lines. Bullets flying, explosions echoing, the 2 gangs locked in fierce combat. Move it. Reload quickly. Medics on standby. Under relentless suppressive fire from the Skyhawks, the Mad Shark gang couldn't gain an inch. They were getting pushed back hard. Back at the Mad Shark camp, a lieutenant looked nervous. "Boss, we keep sending guys in like this. Are we overcommitting?" But the gang boss just sneered. "Those hotheads out front, they are cannon fodder meant to soak up bullets. That idiot off, Faye. He's got muscle for days, but a brain like tofu. I sent these grunts in to bait him into guarding the main gate. Once he's locked down there, his other flanks will be wide open. We've got 4 times their numbers. If we break through on even one front, the Skyhawks are finished." Meanwhile, the guards atop the Skyhawk stronghold began noticing strange activity. One by one, grappling hooks flew up clanking in a place along the stone walls. Peering over the edge, the guards' faces went pale. Below them was a sea of Mad Shark soldiers packed shoulder to shoulder. "Command! Command! Massive enemy presence on the east side," one shouted in his radio. The report reached the front line and a subordinate quickly rushed to inform Boss Faye. Furious, Faye slammed his fist down. "Unleash everything, blast them to hell." Machine guns roared to life, spewing bullets like rain. The frontline mad shark grunts were mowed down in seconds, their screams echoing through the battlefield. But elsewhere, the main force had already deployed ladders, preparing to climb up from multiple directions. Under the command of red lines of mad shark fighters swarmed the ladders like ants. The first one reached the top, poked his head up, and bang, his skull exploded, body dropping lifeless. Red Hair's eyes widened in panic. Sniper, damn it. It's that bastard who hit us last time. When a mad shark boss heard the news, his expression darkened. Find that sniper. I want him dead now. The mad shark boss stood with a face as dark as a thundercloud. Knew it. Someone's working against me from the shadows. Before anyone could respond, he lashed out, kicking a lieutenant clean off the vehicle. If you can't find that sniper, don't bother coming back. Then with a twisted grin, he shouted to the rest, listen up. Whoever finds those hidden rats gets 1 sack of flour and a bottle of red wine. The moment rewards were announced, the soldiers lit up like firecrackers, instantly reinvigorated. Meanwhile, Gwen Xiaoyu had a bad feeling. She could sense that her sniping position had been exposed. Just then, she remembered what Wang Bin told her, don't stay in one spot. Harass and relocate constantly. Keep them guessing how many of us there really are. Without hesitation, she packed up and vanished into a new hiding spot. Back on the front line, Skyhawk Boss Fei was still shouting orders like a true battlefield commander. Just then, a soldier rushed up and whispered, Boss, good news. Someone's tying up the mad sharks. Looks like we've got help from the shadows. Fei's eyes lit up instantly. For real, who's the mystery hero? I'm big time. And at the edge of all the chaos, the man behind the curtain, Wang Bin, watched it all unfold with a calm smirk, masterfully orchestrating every move from the shadows. With Xiaoyu and Miaoruiyan sniping from the flanks, Wang Bin felt completely at ease. He was simply waiting for the perfect moment to strike and end everything in one clean move. Meanwhile, the mad shark boss learned he'd been ambushed again, over 20 men dead. His hands began to shake uncontrollably, fury written all over his face. A voice crackled through the radio. Boss, should we fall back? That push him over the edge. Fall back my ass. Anyone who retreats, shoot them on sight. Keep pushing. Desperate to break through the Skyhawk lines, he finally pulled out his ultimate trump card, a Gatling gun that spewed blue fire. His killing spree began, but just as he was laughing maniacally, mowing down everything in sight, a missile streaked down from the sky like divine judgment. Boom. The explosion sent him flying, man, gun, and all slammed into the dirt. Watching from afar, Longbin cracked a satisfied smile, just as planned. Back at the Skyhawk base, Fei saw the tide turn and nearly cried with joy. Bring out all the good stuff. Time to celebrate. Meanwhile, Wang Bin calmly stored away his secret weapon in the system space and walked away like nothing had happened. Just as Wang Bin was about to leave, a thunderous explosion rang out from the distance, jarring everyone into alert. Moments later, Fei's voice echoed through the Skyhawk bass speakers. Whoever you are, divine or mortal, on behalf of the Skyhawk gang, I thank you for saving our lives. If you ever need a favor from little ol Fei, just say the word. Hearing this heartfelt and slightly over-enthusiastic declaration, Wang Bin silently face-bombed and slipped away without a word. After that battle, the Mad Shark gang was left in shambles. 100 strong had shrunk to barely 30 survivors. In a way, they'd cause any more trouble. Back at base, Longbin knew better than stay put. To prevent any future ambush while he was away, he decided it was time to relocate. At dawn, he led his people toward the outskirts in search of a safer new home. The area was crawling with zombies, danger at every corner. But that was exactly what Wang Bin wanted to grow stronger. He had to keep slaying the undead. That was the path to leveling up. He even armed the 2 youngest kids in the group, teaching them how to defend themselves in this new world. After scouting a vantage point, Wang Bin raised his rifle and fired a single shot into the sky, an open invitation. Sure enough, zombies from every direction began swarming toward the sound. Wang Bin steadied his 98K, took aim, and began the grind, headshots flying. He kept going from sunrise to sunset, never letting up. By nightfall, his marksmanship skill had leveled up to 3 and iron palm technique reached level 2. Progress achieved. Hearing that Wang Bin would be gone for a while, everyone at the base pitched in to cook him a post-apocalyptic banquet to send him off in style. Faced with a feast fit for royalty, Brother Bin put on his most dramatic sigh. I've been her mentor for this long and never got a dinner like this. Truly, girls grow up and forget their elders. But before he could finish the lament, he locked eyes with Miaoruian, who was giving him a look that could kill. Instantly, he switched tones. Just kidding. Smells amazing, right? Eyeing the dishes, Wang Bin smiled sheepishly. Thanks, Captain Miao. You really outdid yourself tonight. But Miaoruian replied flatly, back in my police days, we only gave death row inmates a last meal like this. Then she added, and the wild pheasant. Saelia hunted that herself. You should be thanking her. Without hesitation, Wang Bin threw an arm around Saelia. Knew I could count on you. You're the best, Cyalia. But then came the emotional gut punch. Of course, we don't need to say thanks between us. Right? We are already comrades in arms, brothers. Right? Xiaoya, who had just been internally scripting her love confession, froze. The word brother hit like a crit. Her whole expression cracked. After dinner, Wanbin handed over his missile launcher, explosives, and every heavy weapon he had, leaving them behind for protection. As he turned to leave, Saev stood silently behind him, eyes full of reluctant longing. And then, with a flash of dimensional energy, Wanbin crossed back into the real world. First thing back in the real world, Wanbin went straight to find his two best bros. The three of them downed chicken dinners and cracked open beers celebrating like old times. But when Wanbin casually dropped the bomb that he was investing 4,000 gold bricks into a jewelry business for them, their jaws hit the floor. They quickly pulled out a calculator. Gold's 400 per gram. 4,000 bricks, that's 800 million. As their faces froze in shock, Wanbin stayed calm as ever. Relax. Finish eating and I'll take you there. It's all in my villa right now. One of the brothers gawked. Villa? Bro, since when do you have a villa? Are you some undercover rich heir? Back at the villa, the moment they saw mountains of real solid gold, both of them nearly drooled on the floor. If this is a dream, don't wake me up. That is until Hongfei kicked him square in the back. Oh, okay. Not a dream. It's real. Wanbin grinned. All right. Get moving. Go scout a location for the store. I'll show up for the ribbon cutting. Instantly, both bros lit up. Pure entrepreneurial fire ignited in their eyes. When Wanbin added that they'd also get a share in the business, they froze again. Wait. We are getting equity. Wanbin shrugged. Of course, even between brothers, business is business. You each get 10% of the company. Consider it your technical investment. Now, go make it happen. Hearing that, both of Wanbin's bros felt a little guilty. Dude, we haven't invested a dime. Just running errands and you're giving us 10%, that's way too generous. But Wanbin waved it off, already full of plans. Xingping, you're outgoing and sharp. Take charge of the storefront and lead the sales team. Hongfei, you're calm and detail-oriented. You'll handle internal operations and start learning jewelry design on the side. Once the jewelry business is stable, we'll launch an investment firm next. The three of us together will build an empire. The two bros were so moved, tears welled up in their eyes. They were this close to a group cry. Right at the emotional climax, Wanbin's phone rang. The room's vibe screeched to a halt. He checked the screen. It was the logistics company. His shipment had arrived. They stepped outside to find an entire truck loaded with rice, flour, salt, canned goods, and more. Xingping raised an eyebrow. Yo, are you fleeing the country? Is that rich punkle onto you again? Wanbin simply grinned without answering. The supplies weren't for hiding. They were to support his other life in the apocalypse. Of course, explaining that would have blown their minds, so he let it slide. With business affairs in place, Wanbin took the rest of the day to relax and went out to enjoy the scenery, especially the kind with long legs. As Wanbin strolled down the bustling street, he couldn't help but feel disconnected. After everything he'd been through in the apocalypse, facing death, zombies, betrayal, this peaceful world felt almost unreal. If I had never traveled to the wasteland, maybe I'd be just like them, running around every day just to get by. That thought lit a fire in his chest. No, he swore to himself, I'll rise to the top in both worlds. Reality and apocalypse, I'll rule them both. Just then, a group of men stepped out of an alley blocking his path. Their eyes were hostile, their movements tight. Wanbin instantly knew, these punks are from that clown Li Gongzi. One guy stepped forward with slick back hair and sunglasses. Kid, listen up. You're facing Brother Crow now. Better show some respect. Wanbin didn't even blink. He snorted and kept walking. Not impressed. Crow's smile dropped. Li Gongzi gave the order. We are breaking one of your legs. You want to do it yourself or should we help? Wanbin chuckled coldly, eyes sharp as blades. If you've got the guts, forget a leg. My life is right here. Come take it. Neither side was backing down, so they agreed to settle it the old-fashioned way. Let's take this to the woods. Surrounded by Crow's goons, Wanbin took a solid beating. His stamina was almost gone, but he was ready to go down swinging. Crow barked orders, hyped up and ruthless, cripple him, kill him. Whatever happens, I'll take the heat. Just as the gang charged in, bang. Wanbin whipped out a pistol and fired straight into the sky. The shot echoed loud and clear. Everyone froze. Even Crow's brain short-circuited from shock. His legs went soft like jelly. Wanbin snarled, anyone feeling brave? Come on then. When he dies, it's worth it. 2. I'm making profit. Crow was about to piss himself, but with all his underlings watching, he couldn't back down now. He stepped forward trying to act tough, only to let out a scream as a hidden blade sliced him across the rear. Screaming and furious, Crow yelled, you little punk, from now on, our Black Tiger gang and you didn't even finish. Wanbin lifted his pistol again. And just like that, Crow flipped the script. Hey, no hard feelings. Right? We are all brothers here. Let's just call it even. Wombin gave the gun a casual twirl, ice cold. That was all it took to Crow's entire crew threw their hands in the air like kindergartners on test day. Don't shoot. We surrender. Wangbin scoffed coldly. Black Tiger Gang. So what? Numbers. So what? A bunch of cowards like you wanna teach me a lesson. One of the thugs nervously laughed, nodding like a bobblehead. You're absolutely right, Brother Wang. So, can we leave now? Wangbin rolled his eyes, scrammed before I change my mind. Without hesitation, the lackeys hoisted up the injured Crow and fled like mice in a thunderstorm. As the van disappeared into the distance, Wangbin finally exhaled. Phew. Lucky they scare easy, that could have gone way worse. Right then his phone rang. It was Shimping. Dude, I just heard from someone at school you got dragged off by some gang. You still alive? Wangbin chuckled. Yes, still breathing. Shimping finally relaxed. But once they met up, Shimping's face was full of fury. That bastardly went too far. You're my brother. He messes with you. He messes with me. When Wangbin told him he'd be gone for a while, Shimping immediately stepped up. Don't worry. I'll take care of everything on this end. Wangbin gave detailed instructions about the jewelry shop, tying up every loose end. Before leaving, he gave Shimping a serious warning. Listen, don't go picking a fight with Li Gongzi. I don't want you getting hurt. Shimping nodded obediently on the outside, but inside, his blood was boiling. Touch my brother and think you'll walk away. I don't need orders. I'll settle this my way. As soon as Wangbin disappeared from view, Shimping's face turned cold. He pulled out his phone and dialed. Hongfei, you got eyes on the target. Found him. Hongfei replied calmly. That bastard's in nightclub, partying like a clown, got 2 girls hanging off him. In the bar's restroom, Ligonzi was red-faced and tipsy, giggling to himself as he relieved his bladder, completely unaware that a storm of revenge was silently approaching. Just as he zipped up, 2 large hands gently landed on his shoulders. Who the hell? He snapped, turning to yell. Womp. A burlap sack dropped over his head like a guillotine. What followed was a beatdown so brutal, it could have aired on pay-per-view. Blow after blow, Hongfei and crew delivered the full Brotherhood revenge package with interest. Bruised and battered, Li Gongzi finally blurted out his identity. I'm from the Li family, the Li group. I'll pay whatever you want. Just name your price. But the 2 weren't interested in money. Without a word, they dragged him toward the public restroom like he was luggage. As soon as they opened the stall door, Shimping gagged. Bro, how long has this place gone without flushing? Before Li Gongzi could even scream, they shoved him straight into the toilet stall head first. Mission accomplished. The 2 ran off laughing like lunatics, shouting back. Li Gongzi got a taste of the royal flush. Meanwhile, back in the apocalypse, Wangbin had just returned from the real world ready for a nice relaxing shower. He'd just taken off his shirt when, knock, knock, knock. Soya poked her head in, cheeks flushed. Big bro, won't mind if I join you. Wangbin instantly perked up. Before he could even say no, Xiaoyo pushed open the door and stepped right in with a playful smirk that said she wasn't here to save water. Staring at Xiaoyo, baby face, bombshell figure, Wangbin's brain nearly short-circuited. This is way too stimulating. His nose wouldn't stop bleeding, that he was seconds away from passing out for blood loss and tried to get out to cool down. But before he could move, Xiaoyu's towel slipped off with a flick. Then like a mermaid, she dove straight into the tub. Wangbin panicked. Xiaoya, you're too innocent. For 2 adults sharing a bath, only couples should be doing that. Xiaoya tilted her head, eyes wide. Then why don't you treat me like your girlfriend? Wangbin froze. Wait, Xiaoya, do you actually like me? Her cheeks flushed. I don't know, but lately I can't stop thinking about you, Wang Daich. Wangbin's heart raced and oh, she probably just sees me as a dependable older guy. I can't take advantage of her like this. Suddenly, Xiaoyu leaned closer, puzzled. Wang Daich, what's that floating in the tub? Wangbin nearly died on the spot. You're too beautiful. This is just a normal male reaction. Xiaoya's face turned tomato red. Realization hit instantly. She sank deeper into the water, wishing she could just vanish. Wangbin spoke gently. Xiaoya, maybe the feelings you have for me are just because I've always looked out for you, but are you sure that's really love? Xiaoya bit her lip and looked him in the eye. Then does Wang Daich not like Xiaoya? Wangbin chuckled softly. Of course, I like you, but liking you doesn't mean I should take you for myself. I just want you to be sure. What you feel, is it love or just gratitude? Xiaoyu puffed her cheeks and muttered. Long Daich talks so complicated. Xiaoyu doesn't really get it. He reached out and gently ruffled her hair. That's why I'm saying we shouldn't rush into anything. You haven't figured out your own heart yet. When you do understand it, if you still feel the same, then we can start something real. No need to hurry. But Xiaoyu suddenly leaned closer, her voice soft and serious. But Xiaoyu has figured out already. Xiaoyu is willing. Later, Wang Bin stepped out of the bathroom and returned to his room, but his mind was still spinning from Xiaoyu's words, her voice echoing in his heart. Nothing beats a hot bath. Wang Bin sighed, feeling every muscle relax. But as soon as he sat down, the thoughts crept in again. I really don't know what I'm still hesitating about. Xiaoyu is so gentle, thoughtful, and sweet. Not to mention that figure, good lord. A girl like her, guys would fight to the death just to get a smile from her. Compared to Zhao Qian, who just used me like free labor, Xiao Wei is on a whole other level. Maybe it's because I've been betrayed once that I don't dare respond to someone's feelings so easily anymore, or maybe it's because I do genuinely like her that I'm taking it so seriously. Sigh. Feelings are such a mess sometimes, and the deeper it gets, the harder it'll be to let go, especially in a place like the apocalypse. Just as Wang Bin was lost in emotional limbo, the door creaked open. Cis stepped in, her face flushed, dressed in something dangerously seductive. Wang Bin's eyes widened, bush nosebleed, instant, catastrophic. He almost passed out on the spot. Xiaoyi giggled playfully. So Wang Daijed is like this kind of outfit / Wang Bin, still pinching his nose to stop the blood, stammered, I mean, yeah, but, Xiaoyu, where did you even get that outfit? I found in that pile of clothes you bought for us last time. So how do I look? Wang Bin froze. Wait, what? That was in my shopping haul. They hid him. He'd spent hours browsing a certain online store to get everyone properly sized gear. At one point, the site recommended him a certain spicy outfit, and for some reason, he thought Xiaoyu would look amazing in this. He blacked out and woke up to multiple orders. While he was spiraling, Xiaoyu suddenly threw herself into his arms. One day, I've made up my mind. I want to give myself to you. Ever since I met you, I haven't gone hungry. I've had good food, but more than that, you've always been kind to me. When I'm with you, I feel safe. She looked up at him, eyes shining. Wang Dai, please. Take me. Before he could respond, she leaned in and kissed him, and Wang Bin finally let go. With a quiet growl, he pushed her down onto the bed. You're really sure? No take-backs. All right. That night was long, warm, and unforgettable. At sunrise, Wang Bin and the team set off once more, resuming their mission to seek out gold and survive the harsh apocalypse. During the day, a few stray zombies showed up from time to time, but Wang Bin was well equipped now. These small fries didn't even count as warm-ups. To avoid drawing attention, the group handled them silently with blades whenever possible. Before long, night fell. They found shelter in a deserted upscale neighborhood, a once rich villa district perfect for resting. Even better, the place was full of high-end loot, perfect for Wang Bin to scavenge rare items and upgrade his system. Late that night, while the team slept soundly, shadows crept through the overgrown grass around the villa. The smell of roasted sausages had drawn in a different kind of predator. Xiaoyu woke up rubbing her eyes and stepped out to use the bathroom, but rustling sounds in the bushes stopped her in her tracks. Peeking through the curtain, her eyes widened. The villa was surrounded, packed with strangers closing in. Wang Bin was up in seconds. He gathered the team and headed to the front. One glance outside and he sneered, trying to rob us. Fine. Let's make an example out of two of them first. Bang. Bang. Gunshots echoed through the dark. Before the intruders could even react, heads exploded one after another. The remaining enemies panicked. Terrified by the precision and ruthlessness, they dropped their weapons and scattered like roaches fleeing into the night. Watching the raiders flee into the night, Saya clenched her fists, eyes blazing. I swear, I won't let anyone hurt Wang Daich. Wang Bin glanced at her fierce little expression and couldn't help but sigh inwardly. Women such natural berserkers. Meanwhile, in a crumbling outpost on the edge of his own, a man known as Uncle Wolf sat frowning. How the hell did they spot us in pitch darkness? He guessed the other side must have had night vision or some kind of advanced detection tech. As the group muttered in frustration, Uncle Wolf suddenly grinned, easy fix. Remember those 300 zombies we locked up on the west end of the village? Let's open the gates and let them run wild. See how long these heroes last when death comes from every direction. And just like that, a new nightmare was quietly set in motion. Back at the villa, Wang Bin assumed things had settled down and told Xiaoyu to go get some rest. But this girl, oh no, after the fight, her clinginess leveled up. She wrapped around Wang Bin like an octopus and refused to let go. Even for a second, suddenly, low growls and guttural moans echoed through the night, cutting off Wang Bin and Xiaoyu's peaceful moment. In the dark, an ocean of zombies had crept up to the village edge, surrounding the entire compound like a death tide. Wang Bin took one look and yawned, let him wait. I'll nap first, rest up, then farm them for XP in the morning. Meanwhile, Uncle Wolf watched gleefully from a distant rooftop, rubbing his hands together. There's no way they can last. Once they run out of ammo, we'll swoop in and clean up. To most survivors, a horde of zombies meant certain doom. But to Wang Bin, they were walking XP bags, nothing more. By morning, the ground outside the villa was buried in zombie corpses like a meat grinder had gone off. Uncle Wolf stared through his scope, dumbfounded. All those undead I stockpiled, wiped out in one night. Back inside, Wangbin sat on a recliner with his feet up. Xiaoyu massaged his calves while he sipped tea and enjoyed the breeze, living like he was on vacation. And so the days passed. Wangbin's life boiled down to three things: eat, sleep, zombie grind, but all good things must cycle. The system pinged. Time's up. Back to the real world. On the street corner, a melon vendor was locked in a fierce bargaining war with a motorcycle taxi guy over a couple bucks. Suddenly, bang! A loud thud echoed from the alley nearby, scaring the two so bad they nearly dropped their pants. Meanwhile, Longbin stood at the end of the alley, freshly returned to the real world with a face full of brew. Brushing off some dust, he pulled out his phone to check if anything major had happened while he was gone. First thing he saw, a missed call list with one name that nearly made him laugh: Zhao Qian. That two-faced ex. He say, what now? Don't tell me she got dumped and want to rebound. Ignoring the drama, Wangbin dialed Hongfei to check in on the jewelry shop. The call barely connected before Hongfei shouted, "Bro, where have you been? We've been trying to reach you for days." Wangbin replied casually, "Had some business. No signal on that side." "Oh, cops didn't come looking for you, right? You know, after I decked that Black Tiger punk, I was worried they might press charges and drag you guys into it." Hongfei laughed. "Come on, those street thugs calling the cops. That'd get him laughed off the block. Anyway, the shop's almost ready. Me and Shimping got it handled." "Perfect. I just got back today. Let's meet up tomorrow and talk details." Just as Wangbin walked into his villa, ready for shower and some sleep, his phone rang again. Caller ID. Zhao Qian that he picked up, and her voice came through sharp as ever. "So why'd you call me?" On the other end of the line, Zhao Qian's voice came through sounding conflicted. "Wangbin, I heard you shot someone from the Black Tiger gang. Is that true?" Wangbin let out a cold chuckle. "And if it is, my business isn't yours to comment on." Zhao Qian sighed. "I'm not trying to meddle. I just wanted to warn you that I know I hurt you before, and I don't expect forgiveness. But this time, you've really gotten into something dangerous. Just be careful." Wangbin narrowed his eyes. "Let me guess. Ligonza told you all this." Zhao Qian didn't deny it. "That's right. He was shocked when he heard you had a gun, but it only made him more ruthless that is talking about hiring someone, a professional to get rid of you. That's all I can say. Watch your back." Her tone shifted. "His back. I have to go." The call ended. Wangbin stared at his phone, brows furrowed. Since when did Zhao Qian grow conscience? Unless she found out I'm rich now and wants to crawl back into my life. With the thought of hired killers potentially coming for him, Wangbin didn't dare let his guard down. He decided to hit the lottery again. Maybe score a new life-saving item. He grabbed the lever and yanked. The machine lit up instantly. Pour. The prize wheel spun like mad, lights flashing everywhere. Then it stopped. Right on the skill book icon, Wangbin slapped his thigh. "Let's go. Must be my ancestors burning incense in my favor today." Skill acquired, 1 read crossing effect, ridiculously fast movement speed, like teleport level fast. Overjoyed, Wangbin rushed outside to test it out. 10 kilometers. He ran it in under a minute. He actually lapped the delivery drone. Just as he was marveling at his new power and planning future escapes, loud yelling caught his attention. Not far away, a gang of Black Tiger pawns had surrounded a father and daughter shouting, pushing, clearly looking for trouble. "Hey, old man. Where's our protection fee?" One of the gangsters sneered, stepping forward aggressively. Just as the punk raised his hand, a bald guy stepped out and held him back. "Chill. Don't scare them. I'll cover it," he said with a smug smile. But the old vendor shook his head firmly. "No need. I'll be leaving soon anyway." People walking by took one look at the Black Tiger gang and immediately steered clear. No one dared intervene. From a distance, Longbin narrowed his eyes. Wow. These guys really do have a reputation. Clearly not their first time being scum. Suddenly, the bald thug's demeanor changed. As the old man turned away, he grabbed him by the collar and shoved him back. "You know, I'm a sentimental guy and your daughter wearing that school uniform and already looking that developed, totally unfair, don't you think?" With a wicked grin, he reached toward the terrified girl. The old man screamed, struggling, "Stop. She's just a child. Don't touch her." The air turned heavy. The girl stood frozen, tears in her eyes. We'll spare the details. Tune in next chapter. Just as Wangbin rolled up his sleeves, ready to deliver some righteous justice. Whoosh, a sudden burst of wind cut through the tension. Out of nowhere, an old white-haired man landed beside them like thunder, grabbing the thug's wrist mid-motion. The bald thug growled, "Let go you damn fossil or I'll splatter your head all over the street." The old man didn't even blink. "You? Try it, Junior." The thug's face turned red. "Green hair, teach this geezer a lesson." The green-haired punk snarled and lunged forward, swinging a heavy punch straight at the old man's face. Bam! And immediately recoiled like he'd punched solid iron. His expression froze. What is this guy made of? The old man smiled calmly. Come on now. That's the best you've got. Feels like a toddler slap. He raised a hand. Try this unstoppable sparkling power palm. Boom. A thunderous shockwave erupted, sending all the black tiger goons flying dozens of meters away like rag dolls. As the old man calmly lowered his hand, basking in the glory, the bald thug sneaked up behind him wielding a bench-like club. Just as he was about to strike, crack, a palm exploded through the air. Wangbin stepped in, shattering the bench mid-swing into 100 splinters. The old man's eyes widened in shock. That move could be the legendary Yashawan technique, Mighty Vajra Palm, and at his age, such power already. Incredible. The bald thug, terrified by Wangbin's devastating strike, dropped to his knees and begged for forgiveness. With the trouble handled, Wangbin was ready to leave until the old man called out. Wangbin, was it? We've crossed paths for a reason. Would you do this old man the honor of sharing cup of tea? At the table, the elder praised Wangbin sincerely for his strength and spirit. Wangbin, no slouch himself, returned the compliments. Both men exchanging humble brags and ego-massaging pleasantries like seasoned pros. After a few cups, the old man leaned in with a smile. Care for a little sparring match just for fun? Wangbin nodded without hesitation. The old man gestured, you go first. Wangbin didn't hold back. He launched forward with his signature move, the Miracle Slam Palm. But the elder simply tilted his body, redirected the force with a graceful sweep, and then countered with a single palm strike that seemed light as a feather. It had blasted Wangbin several meters back like a rag doll. This was no ordinary technique. It was the essence of Taiji, softness, overcoming strength. The elder was a true grandmaster. After their friendly duel, the elder was beaming, clearly impressed by Wangbin's talent and heart. Laughing heartily, he clapped Wangbin's shoulder. You know what? How about I take you in as a discount apprentice? Wangbin's eyes lit up. My mighty palm is strong, but too brute force. This Taiji style is next level. Offense, defense, flow, it's perfect. Without hesitation, he knelt and bowed. Thank you, master. Please accept this disciple's formal salute. The old man sipped his tea and sighed with a smile, didn't expect to take a stroll and end up with the treasure of a disciple. All right, get up. I've got something to tell you. My real name is Li Zhongwei. The martial arts I practice are passed down in my family. I never teach them to outsiders. Wangbin's eyes lit up, not passed to outsiders. Then if you're teaching me, that means you already see me as family. He stood straight and vowed, Master, don't worry. From this day forward, I'll train hard and live up to your legacy. Li Zhongwei's voice dropped. How much you learn is up to you, but if you ever dishonor this lineage or commit wicked deeds, I will personally clean house. Don't test me. A chill ran down Wangbin's spine. Damn, that pressure. He really is a grandmaster. Looks like I picked the right teacher. I swear, master, I'll never do anything to shame you or this path. Li Zhongwei waved his hand. All right. Enough of that formality. Pour me a cup of tea. Your ceremony's complete. Right away, master. And just like that, their bond was sealed. After some small talk, they each went their separate ways. The next day, Wangbin took his bros Xinping and Hongfei out to shop for cars. Xinping blinked in disbelief. Wait, they are really buying both of us luxury cars? Isn't that a little excessive? Wangbin shrugged. You're business partners now. A nice car boosts your image and makes you look legit. Hongfei grinned. Okay, big boss. Then what are you getting? Wangbin beamed. Oh, I've got it all planned out. I'm getting a big ol' van. The ultimate road warrior, a golden Jinbei. Hongfei's jaw dropped. Jinbei, you're buying us luxury rides and you're driving a delivery van. Are you serious? Wangbin chuckled slyly, don't worry. I've got my own plans. He pictured Xiaoyu and the others all crammed into a big van, laughing, chatting, road tripping together. A proper crew needs a proper ride. Big Jinbei, perfect. Soon, the three arrived at a luxury auto club downtown. Wangbin scanned the brands and smiled. Looks promising. Let's head in. Hongfei's eyes were drawn to an orange SUV. Whoa. Now that is a beast. Probably cost a fortune though. He whispered, honestly, if you weren't here, I wouldn't even dare to step in this place. Just then, a sharp voice rang out nearby. A well-dressed female salesperson was berating a timid male colleague. How many times do I have to tell you? No matter where I am, if a premium client shows up, you call me to handle it. The man stammered, but you told us never to disturb you when you're in a break room. She grabbed his collar and hissed, so now I'm lazy. You trying to steal my clients? You're just a probationary hire. Try pulling that again and you'll be out before lunch. Longben frowned as he watched. Workplace politics are nasty. So premium clients get claimed like territory now. Gross. He stepped forward and interrupted. Excuse me. Sorry to butt in. My friends and I would like to learn more about the cars. Can someone walk us through the options? The woman turned around already annoyed. Hey, you two. Get your hands off that car. Do you even know how expensive that paint job is? One scratch and you'll be working 10 years to pay it off. She squinted at Bin, sizing him up. Red hoodie, no brand, totally tacky. Those pants, street vendor special. Shoes, passable but cheap. She sneered. Let me guess, college student. Listen up. This isn't some bike rental shop. These are $1 million vehicles. Bin's expression darkened. What's that supposed to mean? Of course, I know what kind of place this is. You think I can't afford it? The woman sneered. Please. You and I both know the answer. Stop trying to act rich. If you're not buying, don't touch anything. One scratch and you'll be paying it off for life. She turned to her colleague, Xiao Li. These clients are all yours. And don't say I didn't warn you. If you don't hit your sales quota this month, you're out. With that, she strutted off without a second glance. Shelley gave an awkward smile and bowed slightly. Sorry about that, sir. She's always like that. Don't take it personally. Let me show you around. As they walked, Bin asked, so how far are you from hitting your quota? He clapped Shelley on the shoulder. Don't worry. As long as you take this seriously and give us a good tour, I'll make sure you hit your numbers today. Sound good? Shelley's eyes lit up, and he quickly launched into his pitch. This one here is the CLS 4-door coupe starting at $630,000. Smooth power, great balance. It's a real performer. Hongfei raised an eyebrow. Bin, maybe we shouldn't go overboard just for appearances. Hey, as long as we stay honest and work hard, the business will thrive with or without flashy cars. Bin nodded, you've got a point. Let's check out some other options. Then he turned back to Xiao Li, but honestly, this one's too cheap. Got anything more premium? Looking at his two brothers, Bin grinned, you guys always had my back when I had nothing. Now it's my turn to return the favor. This is non-negotiable. You're not getting out of it. Soon, we're not just driving luxury. We're building empires that you're both gonna be rich beyond your wildest dreams. Brothers for life, that's a promise. Shelley watched the three with admiration in his eyes. Man, their brotherhood is something else. So real, so selfless. I wish I had friends like that, but wait, can they really afford something more expensive? Cautiously, he asked, Brother Wong, this here is the Mercedes Milligram GT 4-door coupe. Starting price, $970,000. What do you think? One man glanced to the car and nodded. I like the design and the specs, but $970K still feels a bit cheap. Got anything over $1 million? Shelley nearly choked. Actually, this is the top of this line, but it's got everything: performance, looks, features, you name it. Wanna give it a try? He respectfully opened the door. Please, brothers, make yourselves at home. Sit in. Feel the comfort. Hongfei hopped into the driver's seat, eyes sparkling. Whoa. This interior is unreal. You can feel the luxury. He turned around, grinning. Guys, get in here. You have to try this.